My name is Robyn Benson, and I've been practicing as a doctor of oriental medicine for the past 20 years. And in that time, I have been so blessed to take the pulse and to treat at least 80,000 people. And my journey in healthcare has taken me around the world, where I've learned so much from doctors and nurses, and I've spent time in hospitals and health clinics. And I must say that the greatest inspiration in all of these travels have come from the indigenous people of the world, from Kenya and Malta and Egypt and Peru. And what I learned from them is the most important thing that I am able to give to my patients every single day, and to share their amazing wisdom. And that is, that I want to share with you right now, is that the best of medicine and the most important currency for each of us is that you need to be outdoors as much as possible. You need to reconnect with the earth, because that's what gives us life. I mean, we need to be eating fresh fruits and vegetables from the earth, to walk and sleep with the earth, and to embrace this great outdoors, because that's where we thrive. So I've brought all this great wisdom and teachings and practices back to Santa Fe, back to my home, back to my practice, into Santa Fe Soul Health and Healing Center. And I'm often asked, especially from my young patients, Robyn, how did you first get interested in healthcare? And I always think of the Mark Twain quote when he says, the two most important days of your life are the day that you were born and the day that you find out why. So my why happened when I was 5 years old. And my youngest brother was born with a hole in his heart, and he also had some brain damage. And I remember my parents were so dedicated to keep this little boy alive, and we would take journeys in our old green van with purple handmade curtains that my mother so lovingly put together, and we drive to New York City to the then best pediatric cardiologist. And then 6 months later, he died. And on his funeral day, I will never forget watching my mother and father, grandparents, and my older brother walk out the door to his funeral. And I was left home alone with my two younger sisters and a babysitter. And I remember I just felt like it's one of the worst days of my life, just wondering about life and death, and just feeling and wondering about the suffering we just experienced, and to watch this little boy go through what he did. And that day, I decided I wanted to become a medical doctor. And more than anything, I wanted to become the medical doctor that saved my brother's life. When I was 10, based on that experience, that earlier experience, I knew on a career day when I was in 5th grade, I wanted to spend a day with a doctor. And much to my surprise, I was able to do that, and we spent the first part of that day going to 2 nursing homes. And as we entered the first nursing home, I looked in, I literally started walking out, and Dr. Rainsfield graciously just grabbed my hand. He said, "Robyn, I want to introduce you to my friends." And so as I went in there, I was just so struck by everything that I saw and heard, all the languages that I heard, and the smell of stale food and mold. It's like I'm there right now. And all I could think about was, why did these people get there in the first place? What could have prevented them from being there? And that afternoon we spent time in the emergency room, and I was so fascinated to be there, to witness what I saw. And I remember just thinking, I am so grateful for emergency medicine. And that night I went home and declared to my family, I know what I'm doing for a career. I am going to dedicate my life to helping all my friends, all my loved ones, to live well and to stay well, and to learn everything I could about medical care and true health care. When I was 15, a dear friend of mine was diagnosed with leukemia. And we were on the cross-country running team together. We were also earth science partners. He was such an amazing young man who had so much life in him. He had so many dreams, and one day when he was out there, when we were running together, he was 80 pounds and he was undergoing chemo and radiation, and he said, "You know what, Robyn, I just want to live to run a marathon." And then in April 20th, 1980, he died. 20th, 1981, I ran in the Boston Marathon with a dear friend of mine. We were way too young, but we had huge determination to do this because this is something that Todd really wanted to do. And I have to say that crossing the finish line was such a defining moment in my life where I met so many amazing people along that 26-mile journey who shared with me why they were running this race of their life and how they had healed from a disease, or they were running it because of their daughter or their grandmother, or just the stories were amazing. And seeing the people in wheelchairs was such an inspiration to me. So that day too, I just knew I was dedicating my life to living well, into health, into wellness, and that journey took me to college, where I studied from college. This was a very important decision. You know, there was a part of me that was saying, Robyn, the noble thing is to become a medical doctor. Then there was the truth of who I was then and who I am now. I just knew that I was completely excited about studying complementary alternative medicine, that I wanted to dedicate my life to that, because when I entered my first day when I was 23, my first day of studying Chinese medicine, I knew that I was studying a medicine that embraced body, mind, spirit, and all of life. And so to this very day, I so love what I'm doing. I enjoy treating people. And in 13 years, when I was in 13 years of private practice, you know, this vision was like bursting out of me, like beaming, like, Robyn, build a center. Build a center that represents true healthcare. Build it from the ground up. And that's exactly what we've done here. We built Santa Fe Soul Health and Healing Center 8 years ago. And here we are. This is our vision that represents what I consider a true 21st century healthcare model. And we have 12 core values. We are 25 independent practitioners. We certainly practice health and healing and bridges in medicine, which is, you know, the best of both Eastern and Western medicine. As you look at this caduceus, this very powerful symbol, we really live this. We bless and support the masculine and feminine in each of us. This is our temple. And here, the heart that represents our spirit. We treat the whole family. And when I think about relationships, I mean, another thing that I really learned from the Indigenous people and what we're seeing more and more in the world is that, you know, we thrive better together. We practice together here as practitioners, and we are it's like a family. So I want to just focus a bit on prevention. I just want to say to each of you, you don't want to be sick. Based on everything I've seen over these past 20 plus years, you want to be well, you want to thrive every day, you want to feel fantastic, and know that you have that ability, that you have that choice, you have that power to make those positive choices every single day. Two most important things: stay away from fake food. No matter what, you'll go a long way just by that one message. And number two, manage your stress. I mean, have a lot more fun. Really, really take that to heart, because stress really just wreaks havoc in our body. So Santa Fe Soul represents also unity and diversity, and this is what self-care is all about. We are joining many other centers. There's a ripple of change, this ripple of self-care that's impacting communities and nations and the earth and the globe. And what I really think is this whole movement can change what we all want to see. We want to see more world peace, and we want to see more harmony, and certainly a lot more happiness. So my message, and what I just want to leave here to say with you, is that my wish is that you live well, and that you live long, and that you live love, and that you live life to the fullest every single day.